Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in every life when the soul looks back over the years and whispers, if only I had known, if only I had learned just a little sooner. We live in a world rushing forward, chasing dreams, careers, applause, comfort. But in that rush, something sacred is often left behind. And by the time we look back, it's gone. We think we have forever. We say, tomorrow, I'll call them. Next week, I'll forgive. One day, I'll change. But tomorrow doesn't always come. The clock ticks forward, never back. And one day, we sit in silence, wishing for one more moment that we never took. You can own the whole world and still lie awake at night, tormented by fear, regret, emptiness. Why? Because true peace doesn't come from a paycheck or a position. It comes from something deeper, a relationship with the one who gives peace that passes all understanding. We withhold our hugs. We hide our affection. We assume our loved ones will always be there. Then one day, all we have left is the memory and the ache of what was never said. We carry bitterness like a badge of honor, thinking it protects us. But unforgiveness is a poison we drink, hoping it hurts someone else. And by the time we're ready to let go, years have passed, hearts have hardened, and the damage is done. The world will cheer your success, but it is silent when your soul crumbles. Fame is fleeting, applause fades, but the integrity you build in secret, that is what stands when all else falls. We build walls to protect ourselves, to look strong. But those very walls become our isolation. And one day, we long for connection, but we've pushed everyone too far away. We rewrite it, redefine it, replace it. But truth is not a trend, it is eternal. And by the time we realize it, we've built our lives on sand instead of the rock. We feed our appetites, our ambition, our desires, but we starve our spirit. Then in the quiet of the night, we feel the hunger of a heart that was made for something more. Some wait for crisis to cry out to God, but he was never meant to be a last resort. He was meant to be your first call, your daily bread, your constant friend. We often live our lives as though the sands in our hourglass are endless, as though we are guaranteed another sunrise, another birthday, another chance to do what we put off today. But the truth is, time is not promised. We wake up each morning assuming we'll have another evening. We say things like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll call them next week. I'll fix it later. But later is not guaranteed. Tomorrow is not written in ink. It's written in vapor. And too often, we realize this only when it's too late. We learn this when we stand at the graveside of someone we loved but never told. We learn it when we look back and wonder where the years went, how quickly the children grew, how swiftly the moments slipped through our fingers like water. There's a deep tragedy in assuming there's more time, because every missed opportunity to love, to forgive, to give, to be present is a moment that will not come again. You cannot stretch time. You cannot rewind it. You cannot buy it back. That's why the scriptures speak again and again about numbering our days, about living with urgency, not panic, but purpose. Every heartbeat is a gift. Every breath a chance. And if we wait until tomorrow to start living right today, we just might find that tomorrow never arrives. All around us, people are searching for peace. They chase it in the form of possessions, promotions, popularity. They build bigger houses, climb higher ladders, fill their lives with noise, thinking that maybe, just maybe, peace is on the other side of the next accomplishment. But when they get there, when they reach what they thought would finally quiet their soul, they find the same restlessness waiting for them. Because true peace does not come from the world. It doesn't come from money in the bank or a name on a plaque. It doesn't come from applause or attention or even comfort. Those things may offer distraction, but not peace. They may dull the ache for a while, but they can't heal it. And many people spend a lifetime trying to buy peace, borrow peace, pretend peace, only to discover far too late that peace was never something the world could give. It is not found in the absence of trouble, but in the presence of God. There is a stillness, a calm, a deep and abiding rest that flows not from circumstances, but from knowing the one who holds all things together, the one who says, "My peace I give to you," not as the world gives. The world offers temporary relief. He offers eternal peace. But we often don't see that until we've exhausted ourselves trying everything else, until we've climbed the ladder only to find it leaning against the wrong wall, until we've gained the whole world but feel the emptiness inside. And that's when the heart finally whispers what the soul has known all along: there must be more. Love is one of the most powerful forces on earth, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. So often we assume that feeling love is enough, that having affection in our hearts somehow fulfills our duty. But love, unexpressed, is easily mistaken for indifference. We think we have time to say, "I'm proud of you," time to say, "I forgive you," time to say, "I love you," and so we wait. We assume our loved ones know how we feel. We believe our silence speaks just as loudly as our words. But days turn into years, and suddenly the opportunity is gone, and we're left wondering why we didn't say more when we had the chance. Love must be spoken. It must be shown. It must be lived out loud. A gentle touch, a kind word, a handwritten note, a few moments of undivided attention. These are the ways love breathes life into relationships. Because love was never meant to be hidden in the corners of our hearts. It was meant to shine. There are children growing up craving the words, "I'm proud of you." There are parents longing to hear, "Thank you." There are spouses waiting for a simple, sincere, "I see you. I appreciate you." And far too often those words come, but only after the funeral. We buy flowers for graves that could have been given in life. We write tributes and eulogies that were never spoken face to face. We cry over words we never said. And in those moments, we realize that love delayed is often love denied. Don't wait. Don't assume. Don't let the weight of unsaid love become part of your story. You may never get the perfect moment, but you do have this one. And it's enough. Speak the love that's in your heart. Show it while you can. Because when love is held back, it's not felt. And when it's not felt, it might as well not exist. There's a lie we often believe, especially when we're young, that life is a rehearsal, that we have time to try things out, to take it lightly, to live as though the consequences are always reversible. But the truth is, every choice we make sends ripples through our life and through the lives of others. Every word we speak, every path we choose, every habit we form, it all matters. The decisions we make today shape who we become tomorrow. And more than that, some choices don't just affect this life, they echo into eternity. We don't like to think about that. It's easier to treat life like a game, to assume we can fix things later, make amends later, get serious later. But later is a dangerous word, because some things lost cannot be recovered. Some roads, once taken, are hard to turn back from. We choose bitterness instead of forgiveness, and before we know it, years have been lost. We choose shortcuts instead of integrity, and suddenly our reputation crumbles. We choose silence instead of truth and watch relationships wither. We say, it's just one time, and don't realize it's the first link in a chain that binds us for years. And yet, so many of us don't realize the weight of our choices until the damage is done, until we're picking up the pieces of a broken marriage, a shattered trust, a lost calling, until the emptiness creeps in and we look back and ask, how did I get here? We got there one step at a time, one compromise at a time, one decision at a time. But here's the grace in it all. Though our choices carry weight, we are never beyond redemption. God doesn't waste a single moment, even our mistakes. What we must learn, though, is to stop living like life is a trial run. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things we're ever called to do. If you're waiting for the perfect moment to forgive, you may wait forever. From the time we're young, we're told to chase success, to aim high, to be the best. And so we spend our lives building resumes, collecting trophies, climbing ladders, doing everything we can to make a name for ourselves. And the world applauds it. People cheer. They admire achievement. They celebrate talent. But what we learn Success may open doors, but character is what keeps them open. Talent may get you noticed, but integrity is what earns respect. You can have the spotlight, the platform, the applause of thousands, but if your heart isn't right, if your private life doesn't match your public image, it all crumbles. Maybe not right away, maybe not where others can see, but eventually the cracks will show. We see it happen all the time. Leaders who fall, marriages that break, families torn apart, not because they weren't successful, but because something was missing at the core. A foundation of honesty, humility, compassion. That's what holds a life together. Character is who you are when no one's watching. It's how you treat people who can't give you anything in return. It's whether you tell the truth when a lie would be easier. And it matters more than anything you'll ever put on a resume. The world may never reward you for kindness or patience, or doing the right thing when it costs you. But heaven takes note, and the legacy you leave will not be in the titles you held or the things you owned. It will be in the way you lived, the way you loved, the way you stood when others fell. We learn too late that the things people chase, the image, the influence, the praise, don't endure. But a life built on integrity does. And at the end of it all, when the crowd is gone and the stage is empty, what will remain is not what you accomplished, but who you became. So ask yourself now, before it's too late, am I building a life that shines on the outside, or one that stands firm from the inside out because the applause of man fades, but the approval of God is forever? Pride is subtle. It doesn't always come dressed in arrogance or loud boasts. Sometimes it hides behind silence. Sometimes it disguises itself as strength, as self-reliance, as the refusal to need anyone or admit weakness. And for a while, pride feels like power. like control. We build walls around ourselves, convincing the world and ourselves that we've got it all together. We don't ask for help. We don't say, I was wrong. We don't say, I need you. Because somewhere deep inside we believe that to be vulnerable is to be weak. But what we learn, often too late, is that pride is not strength. It's a prison. It locks us in. It keeps us from healing, from growing, from truly connecting. We push people away to protect our ego. But in doing so, we end up alone. We silence our confessions, but our guilt grows louder. We hide our wounds, but they fester in the dark. We live in a world that tells us our value is determined by what we achieve, by what we own, by what we can show others. We measure success by outward appearances, the car we drive, the house we live in, the career we've built. And for a while it can feel fulfilling. It can feel like we're doing life right. But there's a deep and profound emptiness that comes when we focus only on feeding our bodies, our appetites, and our ambitions, and neglect the part of us that matters most, our soul. The soul is the deepest part of who we are, the place where our purpose is found, where our worth is determined, where we experience true peace and joy, and yet we feed it the least. We pour our energy into everything that is temporary, into things that can be taken from us in an instant. We worry about our bank accounts, our status, our comfort, while the soul remains starved. And when we finally stop, when we finally take a breath, we realize that the hunger we feel isn't physical, it's spiritual. We've been pouring ourselves into the world's pursuits that leave us empty, anxious, and restless. We've ignored the voice within us, the still, quiet whisper that tells us we were made for something more than just what we see. The body can only go so far. It needs rest. It needs nourishment. It needs care. But the soul needs far more than what the world can offer. It needs love. It needs connection with the Creator. It needs purpose, meaning, and truth. The soul was made to commune with God, to be filled with His peace, His grace, and His calling. But we often neglect the soul until we can no longer ignore it. We chase success. We chase pleasure. We chase validation. But we're left feeling like we've run a race, only to find that the finish line was an illusion. And that's when the soul begins to cry out, when it starts to remind us that we were made for something deeper, something eternal. When we neglect the soul, we lose our sense of identity, our sense of purpose, and our peace. We feel like we're living someone else's life, because in many ways we are. We are living for things that will fade away, instead of living for the one who gives life its meaning. Don't wait until you're standing at the edge of the world, looking around and realizing that nothing you've built can fill the hole in your heart. We often think of faith as something to turn to in moments of crisis, as a safety net when everything else is falling apart. And while faith is certainly there for us in those times, it was never meant to be an emergency backup plan. It was meant to be the very foundation of our lives, the compass that guides us through every season, every trial, every joy, and every sorrow. Yet so many people wait. They wait for a moment of desperation to seek God. They wait for everything to fall apart before they finally cry out for help, and by the time they do, they often feel like they're grasping at straws, trying to find something solid to hold on to in the midst of their pain. But faith is not meant to be a last resort. It is the first step, the steady anchor in the storm. When we make faith a part of our daily lives, when we build it into the fabric of who we are, it becomes the strength that carries us through everything, both the good and the bad. Faith doesn't shield us from life's challenges. It equips us to face them with courage, with hope, with the assurance that we're never alone. When we walk by faith, we are walking in the presence of the one who holds all things together. We may not understand every trial, every loss, every moment of suffering, but we know we are not abandoned. Too many people don't discover the power of daily faith until they've hit rock bottom. They realize too late that faith isn't something you can turn on and off like a switch. It's a journey, a relationship, a way of life. When we wait for the storm to arrive, we often find we're not prepared to face it with the strength we need. We haven't built up the trust, the resilience, the peace that only comes from walking closely with God every day. Faith is a path. It's a walk. And it's not just about believing when things are hard. It's about believing when things are easy too. It's about trusting when we're unsure, hoping when we're weary, and praising when we're blessed. Don't wait until the crisis hits. Don't wait until you're standing in the ruins of what you've lost to reach for the hand of God. Because if you wait, you will miss the opportunity to live with his peace now, to walk in his guidance now, to experience his love and grace today. Faith isn't a parachute to deploy in free fall. It's the steady, unshakable